Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another special, long, probably not that long, episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games in that order because it's a solo show. I'm running the show here. Matt is on assignment in the desert. He's got family, he's got friends, he's got food, and he's got fun times at spring training. So, I will be in the driver's seat. This is episode 529. It is Pi Day as of this recording, 314. Hopefully, you got yourself a nice pie as we dive in to this special episode because it is our Oscar predictions. And that's exactly where we're going to start. Like I said, we're going to shake things up here, going in order with movies, TV, music, and video games. So, first off, we always start the movie section with the weekend box office. And at number one is Hoppers, just like we called it, with $45 million for its opening debut. Its strongest debut in recent years for an original IP. You have to say for original IP because Toy Story 4 had the better opening. Because Inside Out 2 had the better opening. But for original IPs, $45 million is strong since Coco, which was our favorite movie way back when. Put it at 2 is Scream 7, dropping heavily from 63 down to $17 million for a total of $93 million. At 3, The Bride, at $7 million in its debut. Coming in at 4, Goat, for another $6.4 million, bringing its total to $83 million. And running at your top 5, Wuthering Heights, with $3.7 million, bringing its total to $78 million. As for our box office predictions, while Hoppers was the number one movie, I did fall short of that $63 million. So it did not reach the highs that Scream did in its opening weekend, but that means Matt gets the point. I mean, we were right that Hoppers was the number one movie, but that means Matt does get the point there. So congratulations to that. Brings him to 6-3 and me 1-9. Oof, big swings, big misses. But we have a couple of movies coming up this weekend. Yes, it is the Oscar weekend, but that does mean there's still a couple movies coming out. First off, we have something called Undertone, which is a sci-fi horror thriller from A24. We also have Reminders of Him, which is stars Micah Moore, Bradley Whitford, Tariq Withers, and Lauren Graham. It's this romance drama. Not really sure. I don't think I'll have a movie that come out this week because it's Oscar weekend, which means uh Hoppers is probably gonna roll over as your number one movie. Let's just put it that way. If we drop it down to at least half, put it at 20 million, I think it could do better than 20 million. I've seen a lot of good reviews, so I'm gonna drop this down to 20 million, and we'll see what happens next week. As for movie news, it is Oscar weekend, and we've got our votes that we're going to get through. But first, a little cleanup because we got to talk about some stuff that will be happening that we know at the Oscars. First off, we know Conan O'Brien will host the event for the second consecutive year. Now, due to time constraints and broader structural changes to the telecast, only 2 of the 5 nominees for Best Original Song will be performed live during the show. Those being Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters and I Lied to You from Sinners. I think those two are your top two vote getters. We'll get into the best original song, but to see the other three cut, especially one from Josh Groban and one from Diane Warren, is a bit of a letdown. Normally, you have all the nominees sing, but they kind of had to do this because the Academy Award for Best Casting will be the first new Oscar category introduced this year since the Best Animated Feature Film all the way back in 2001, where, fun fact, that Oscar went to Shrek. Uh, yep. So we'll look forward to Best Casting being added to the telecast. We also have Barbara Streisand performing the In Memoriam segment. Also, one, she's a good singer, and two, to honor Robert Redford, who died in September of last year. Additionally, we know that Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are set to come on stage to honor Rob Reiner, who him and along with his wife Michelle were tragically killed in December of last year. But on a little bit of a brighter note, we have Rose Byrne, we have Melissa McCarthy, we have Maya Rudolph, and we have Kristen Wiig. For those of a certain age who know where those four intersect, that's right. Bridesmaids, the 2011 film, will be having its 15th anniversary, and all four of them are set to present together at the Oscars. So that is something special to look forward to. Because, yes, it's been 15 years since Bridesmaids. And where's the sequel? I'm just kidding there. But, where's the sequel? Come on. All right, let's get into the Oscar nominations. The reason you're listening to this podcast. Now, Matt's not here to defend his choices, but I do have what he has put down here. So we'll go from top to bottom, starting with Best Actor. We have Timothy Chalamet from Mighty Supreme, Leo from One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke from Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan from Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. And Matt has still not changed his stance and gone with Timothy Chalamet for Mighty Supreme, even though when he saw Blue Moon, he was basically, here, give Ethan Hawke the award. He deserves it here. But ever since seeing Mighty Supreme, it's the only thing he wants and can talk about, Timothy Chalamet, even though he's had some bit of interview troubles these past couple weeks. Voting for the Oscars occurred prior to those interviews, so they shouldn't have any huge effect on him winning. That being said, my pick is for Michael B. Jordan because of SAG Awards. He wanted the SAG. I have a feeling that's going to carry over and win here too. Especially if they want to give something to Sinners that's not Best Picture. The best thing would be either director, which probably won't happen for Sinners, and then the next best thing is Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan because he did play two lead roles in that thing. So those are our top two picks. As for Best Supporting Actor, we have Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. We are all in lockstep here with Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. Pencil it in. He's pretty much won this award everywhere else. Pick Sean Penn for your picks. Also, picking up awards pretty much everywhere else is the Best Actress category. We have Rose Byrne with If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Reviz for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. But the winner here is going to be Jessie Buckley for Hamlet. If you haven't seen Hamlet, it's available on Peacock. If you want to bawl your eyes out, Hamlet is available on Peacock. If you want to see great acting from Jesse Buckley, you could probably go see The Bride in theaters, but Hamlet is available on Peacock. So Jesse Buckley, write this in down, confirmed. As for the best supporting actress, it's a bit of a toss-up. We have Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Lilesa for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Uwumi Mosaku for Sinners, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Now, this one is a toss-up. This one can go anywhere. We've seen Amy Madigan win for Weapons at SAG. We've seen Uwumi Mosaku win a lot of other places. And early on, we saw Teyana Taylor win this category early in the award season. So Matt has decided to go with Wumi Mosaku, keeping with saying that Sinners needs to deserve an acting category here, and this is the one he's decided to put for. I put that for Michael B. Jordan, which means I'm going for Tiana Taylor here for One Battle After Another. As I mentioned, she won pretty early on. She's a pretty strong force in that opening of the movie. Should not be seen again, but leaves a lingering presence throughout. Much in the same way that Anne Hathaway's performance in Les Mis has a strong performance at the beginning and then in Act One, and then is a lingering presence throughout the film. So I'm going with Teyana Taylor here, much in that same vein. Uh, Matt, I know why you went with Sinners here. Uh, I just don't think it's gonna matter much here for Best Supporting Actress. Next, we have Best Animated Film. Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, La Mille, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. We are both on board the K-pop Demon Hunters train, and this is one of the best animations in recent memory. It's very infectious. I also, we will get there, but expect this to win Best Original Song because the songs in that movie help carry this film, especially Golden at the end. So, K-pop Demon Hunters, if it doesn't win here, probably Zootopia 2. I'll get to why because that's in my thoughts. I did watch it, but I'll talk more about it there as to why I think it could be the upset. Next, in Best Cinematography, we have Dan Lauston for Frankenstein, Darius Khondji for Body Supreme, Michael Bauman for One Battle After Another, Autumn Durald Arcapa for Sinners, and Adolf Veloso for Train Dreams. And Matt has gone with Train Dreams, and I have gone with One Battle After Another. Matt's not here to defend his Train Dreams, so it can only be a pipe dream for him to win, or rather a train dream for him to win. Uh, I have gone with One Battle After Another. It's a very, very well shot film. It's finely tuned. Frankenstein might have a chance here, same with Mary Supreme, but I think Mary Supreme, just like the BAFTAs, will mostly get snubbed here at the Oscars, and Frankenstein will win elsewhere. More specifically, it'll win in the next category, Best Costume Design, because there we have Deborah L. Scott for Avatar, Fire and Ash, Kate Hawley for Frankenstein, Malgosia Trzonska for Hamlet, Miyako Belize for Mighty Supreme, and Ruth E. Carter for Sinners. And here is where Frankenstein gets to do for costume design because they are fantastic in that film. It's a based off a period piece of the novel Frankenstein, and everything is well done in it. We both agreed while watching it in our initial review that costume design, production design, Frankenstein has it on lock, and I don't see any of these other films making that big of a splash. Maybe Hamlet, but the amount of different designs that Frankenstein has throughout the film, I think it's got it. As for Best Director, we have Chloe Zhao for Hamlet, Joseph Safdie for Mighty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. And you're going to hear this name a lot, Paul Thomas Anderson, during the awards, because One Battle After Another will is what Matt and mine's pick is for Best Director. One Battle After Another is going to clean up a lot of awards here. Outside chance that Ryan Coogler wins, but at the DGA, it did go to Paul Thomas Anderson. Now, that being said, SAG does have a huge voting block here. They could go for Ryan Coogler. We've seen it before, but I think picking of Best Director may also influence what you'll see later in the night in Best Picture. But before we get to Best Picture, we have a couple of the random categories that may or make or break your brackets. First off, Best Documentary Feature Film: The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor. And we are split here. I've got Mr. Nobody versus Putin. Matt has The Perfect Neighbor. We'll see which one gets Best Documentary Feature. As for Best Doc Short Film, we are both in agreement with All the Empty Rooms. The others in this category are Armed Only with a Camera, Children No More, The Devil is Busy, and Perfectly a Strangeness. As for the other uh, short and long form, our other short films, we have Best Animated Short Film, Butterfly, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. Matt's going with Butterfly, and I'm going with The Girl Who Cried Pearls. You can go with whatever you choose. Same with Best Live Action Short Film. We have The Butcher Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, and Two People Exchanging Saliva. Matt's going with Two People Exchanging Saliva. I've got The Singers. You can make your own random choice because this is where you're going to either win or lose your Oscar party pool. Going back to the main courses, we have Best Film Editing with Stephen Marone for F1, Ronald Braunstein and Joseph Sadi for Mighty Supreme, Andy Jurgensen, One Battle After Another, Oliver Boucoutier for Sentimental Value, and Michael P. Shaver for Sinners. You're going to see a lot of these same names in these categories, and it's going to be a lot of, is it Sinners? Is it One Battle After Another? We're both in lockstep. It's One Battle After Another. So we're going with Andy Jurgensen, and you should too. For Best International Film, we have The Secret Agent from Brazil, It Was Just an Accident from France, Sentimental Value from Norway, Serat from Spain, and The Voice of Hind Rajab from Tunisia. Because Sentimental Value is up for Best Picture, Matt and I have both picked it for our Best International Film. Now, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed it because The Secret Agent is also nominated for Best International Film. However, The Secret Agent doesn't show up in a whole lot of other categories where Sentimental Value does. So we're going to lean towards Sentimental Value in International Film. As for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, we have, once again, Frankenstein showing up as our picks. There's also Kokuo, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. But like I said before, expect Frankenstein to clean up here with makeup hairstyling. Then we have Best Original Score, the music section, with Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. We've both picked Sinners because it's a big part of that movie. all the way it moves, the way it feels, and we've both gone with Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. Outside chance that Johnny Greenwood does get from one battle after another, especially if people just go tick, 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 one battle after another, all the way down. But I think Sinners should win here. And then as for Best Original Song, we have Dear Me from Diane Warren, Golden, K-Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy by Viva Verdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams, which would have been performed by Josh Groban. But yeah, the only performances we have here are I Lied to You from Sinner and Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, meaning it's going to be one of those two. If you want to go with Sinners just straight down the line, you can go with I Lied to You. But we also feel here at the Beat Up Podcast that Golden is the one that's going to take it. So make sure you choose Golden. Otherwise, you might not have a golden statue to take home. Then we have Best Production Design, with which, if you've been paying attention, we both chose for Frankenstein. You also have Hamlet, which could be an outside surprise, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Again, if there are Academy voters out there who are just going to go right down the lines on a single one, Sinners and One Battle After Another could garner some votes here, but we feel that Frankenstein is going to win this category. As for Best Visual Effects, we have Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Matt has gone with Avatar, Fire and Ash, though do note, I do not think Avatar has won this category. So, in honor of that, I've gone with Sinners because it's the only one that shows up that's also in the Best Picture, besides F1. But really, F1's not going to get any awards here. F1's one of those, it's nice to be nominated films. Then we have, we forgot Best Sound, which used to be Best Sound Editing and Sound Mixing till they combined it to Best Sound. And we have F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. Matt, somehow, without ever seeing the film, has chosen F1 for Best Sound. He is wrong. He is going to go to Sinners because, just like what I said, sound editing, sound mixing, Sinners is a combination of both sound and music and fluid, and I'm going with Sinners. Also, most people are going to see, oh, Sinners, check here. Outside Chance, One Battle After Another, also here, but Outside Chance F1 as well. It's a sports movie. It's a racing movie. Lots of sounds in it. Lots of noises, lots of different variable levels so you don't blow out your ears. But I'm still going to go with Sinners here. And then we get to Matt's favorite category, which is the writing. We have Best Adapted Screenplay with Will Tracy for Begonia, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Chloe Zhao and Maggie O'Farrell for Hamlet, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, and Clint Bentley and Greg Quidar for Train Dreams. Matt and I are in lockstep here with Paul Thomas Anderson walking away with One Battle After Another because he does not have to compete with Sinners in this category. Which means for Best Original Screenplay, we have Robert Kaplow for Blue Moon, Jafar Padi for It Was Just an Accident, Ronald Bronstein and Joseph Sadi for Marty Supreme, Eskel Vogt and Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Now, Ryan Coogler and Sinners doesn't have to compete with Paul Thomas Anderson and One Battle After Another in this category, so we're both going with Sinners here. These both seem like a lock, so there's at least two that you can get right in your own Oscar ballots. Then we have the newest category, Best Casting. We have Nina Gold for Hammett, Jennifer Venditti for Barney Supreme, Cassandra Kulukundis for One Battle After Another, Gabriel Dominguez for The Secret Agent, and Francine Meisler for Sinners. And the winner of the first ever Best Casting category will, unfortunately, not be Sarah Haley Finn for all the casting she's done for Marvel and everything that she's done to basically get this thing into an actual category. But because she's not nominated here, we have to. I'm going to go with Sinners, and Matt is going to go with Marty Supreme. We're both kind of not on one ballot after another here for casting. Uh, Matt is gushing over Marty Supreme. He thinks it's great. He thinks the best things in sliced bread. He's saw it in theaters two, three times, I think, maybe. But I'm going with Sinners here. Just people are going to go, oh, Sinners, check. And that brings us to the top prize of the night in Best Picture. We have Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Now, right off the bat, we can knock a few of these off. F1, no. Train Dreams, no. Sentimental Value, no. Secret Agent, no. Uh, Hamnet, maybe, but there's nothing. It did win at the BAFTAs. It has won other places, but not enough steam, I think, to make it here. Same thing with Frankenstein. You'll see it win a lot of awards, but won't pick up Best Picture. Uh, it's going to come down to, well, we have Begonia, we have Mighty Supreme, which, while good, I think will falter here because Best Picture race has really been a two-horse race. One battle after another, and Sinners. Sinners has SAG Awards going for it. Sinners has the momentum going into the night. One battle another started off very, very strongly in the award season. One battle after another is going to get Best Director here. One battle after another, one at the PGA and the DGA. One battle after another, one pretty much everywhere else. So, following in that logic, while it would be great to see Sinners win here for Best Picture, we both agree that One Battle After Another is going to win. That it's Paul Thomas Anderson's night, that he is going to get the director, the writer, and the Best Picture award, just like last year with Sean Baker winning for Honora for director, edit. Well, he actually won for editing too, for director, editing, writing, and picture. That this is Paul Thomas Anderson's night. It's been building as Paul Thomas Anderson's night, but no matter if it's One Battle After Another or if it's Sinners, Warner Brothers is going to be the big winner because they distributed both of those films. And that is the very, very, very long list of Oscar nominations. Thank you for listening to me talk about that. And now you can take that, go fill out your brackets. Hopefully you'll win. If you do, let us know of how we did and how you did. If you went more with my picks or more with Matt's picks as we go into Academy Awards. Just tell us after the show how you did by emailing us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming, as I have thoughts. I alluded to it. Zootopia 2 has an outside chance of beating K-pop Demon Hunters because it's actually really, really good. I was surprised how good this is. I had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun right from the get-go. Shakira's new song, everyone acting like a zoo. Zoo Ooh Ooh is fun. It's catchy. It's upbeat. It kind of plays on the same tropes as Zootopia, where Hannah Bunny and a fox get along in the Zootopia city, as well as like building on partnerships and really, really odd layering of therapy and trusting people and like how you see yourself in other people's eyes and how they see you or how you think they see you and trying to build mostly trust and like familiar relationships and being that person who's there for you. It's got a lot of layers to it, which I was surprised to see. But then again, there was a lot of layers in Zootopia, but a lot of like metaphysical layers. There's actual like layers and depth of characters. So it was fun and a nice price seat. There's a lot of callbacks to Zootopia 1, but not too much towards hammering over the head of, hey, remember what this was good? Remember we did this? Remember we did this? So it's very nice to see. It's very fun. It's very well done. I do kind of like I did enjoy this movie. I did enjoy watching it through. The twist not is comes out of nowhere. I feel like they could have done a bit better to help build that up. But I think because if you watch Zootopia 1, you're going to know that, oh, who's the actual bad guy here in Zootopia 2? So that twist does come, but not as much as, it doesn't hit as hard as I think the first one did. But I still liked it. It's on Disney Plus now, so I'd recommend it. But your mileage may vary, although I think you will have a fun time here. Moving right along, then, we have television. And we'll start television with the Sports Corner. And it is the Players' Championship weekend of golf with Ludwig Aberg up by only 2 strokes, with 8 players within 6 shots of the lead with 2 rounds remaining. The one today and the one on Sunday. So we'll see if Ludwig can hold off the field of the Players' Championship. Next up, NFL. It was free agency frenzy, and in total, teams doled out $2.3 billion in total contracts during the first day of free agency. The Las Vegas Raiders spent up with a new head coach. They needed a new team to build around, with $281 million spent that day. And they also have the number 1 pick. So Mendoza, come on down and join the big spending Las Vegas Raiders. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans came in at number 2 with $270 million, also in desperate need of a rebuild. Over on the baseball side, Team USA was very, very almost nearly eliminated due to bad management, and it's hilarious to see. I mean, they did make it out of the grouping stage into the brackets, but they very nearly almost didn't due to the way tiebreakers rule. Since they lost to Italy, Italy could have been the one to knock them out with Mexico. But their game did go the way they wanted. It kind of ended up being a blowout, which means Team USA did make it to the bracket knockout rounds. And they actually are now in the semifinals where they will play the Dominican Republic. Over on the other side, it is Puerto Rico and Italy going to be versus Venezuela and Japan. Whoever wins those games, because they haven't been decided yet, will be in the other semifinal bracket. And the finals for the U for the US for the World Baseball Classic will be taking place on Tuesday, March 17th, which, yes, for those of you keeping track, is indeed St. Patrick's Day. Going over to our winter sports. In the NHL, real quickly, the Avalanche and the Stars have both crossed the 90-point mark. Unfortunately, they're both in the Central Conference, which means only one of them's going to get the top seed, and the other one's not. But hey, I mean, at least they're both pretty much at this point guaranteed spots in the playoffs. It just kind of sucks that, oh, they're both crushing it in the same division, while everyone else is in the low 80s, and even I think one of them's in the 70s still. As where we talk about the top, we also talk about the bottom, where the Canucks are struggling, dealing 48 points in the season. It's just embarrassing. As for your other winter sport, the NBA, we now have a new scoring champion. No, LeBron is still on top, but in single game points, one is still Wilt Chamberlain because that's a point game. But two, Bam Adebayo is now second all time in a single point scored with 83 points, passing Kobe's 81 point game. And why this has not made such a bigger deal is because of the discourse around the NBA. While the NBA could be celebrating this as come watch our games, you can see exciting stuff like this. At any night, someone could put up 83 points. At any night, you could see something fantastic like this. Why we watch the game, why we love sports. But instead, a lot of the discourse has been around the team that they played against. Uh, Bam was on the Heat, and they played against the Wizards, and a lot of it is dunking on the Wizards, who are tanking intentionally, which is kind of ruining the NBA sport. And a lot of people are tuning up and like, oh, well, he did it against the Wizards. So it's not really a good team that he did against. Also, like the defense they played was one on one with him until he reached 70 points, and then they decided to double team him. Like, yeah, you're gonna if you someone's on roll, someone's shooting good, then yeah, they're gonna rack up a lot more points. Also, half of those points came from the free throw line. He made 83 free throw shots. He had 47 attempts, but sending someone to the line that much and that often feels like, at least in the discourse, feels like the padded stats, which is why you see a lot of people kind of discounting Bam Adebayo's achievement. Even though this is to be celebrated. We don't see 83-point games. We rarely see 60-point games. We rarely see 70-point games. Before this, Adebayo's top score was 42 points. He doubled it in a night. It also brought up his entire average, but still, to basically double your entire points should be something that is celebrated in the NBA. He should be champion, he should be heralded. He should be like, come watch our games. You can see something like this. And yet the NBA is not capitalizing on it. They're instead mocking it. They're turning it down. They're turning their nose up and be like, oh, well, Bam's not really a superstar. He's not one of the top guys here. He's not really an all-star. So we're going to be like, no, no, no. That doesn't really count. We're still celebrating the legacy that is Kobe Bryant because he was the superstar, the face of the NBA, the 81 point game, the man who could dominate. Not Bam Adebayo, who got 43 free throw attempts, who just happened if you take those away and he only gets like two or three a night, then he has like a 40-point game, 50-point game. So there's a lot of bad and vile discourse out there about the NBA right now because of Bam Adebayo. And it's why there's not a lot of viewers for the NBA. It's why people are trying to get off because of toxic fandom. Just don't be toxic about it. If you see something great, celebrate it. If you see something amazing happen, share it. Don't try and tear down these achievements. Rarely will we ever see another 80-point game in our lifetimes. I mean, to see one from Kobe was great. To see a second one from Bam is also phenomenal. Don't take away from these players who go out there and put their heart out there and try so hard to make essentially sports exciting. It's why we watch sports because it's live entertainment. It's not scripted. Anyways, I'm going to come down off my NBA soapbox here because the vile discourse over Bam Adebayo is just should not exist. It shouldn't be here and bringing down the NBA as a whole. Much like when an MLB eventually has a lockout because they don't have a good players union, and it's going to just sink the goodwill that the MLB has in December with the that's December. We'll get there in December. As for this weekend, it is championship weekend for NCAA. And that means it is Selection Sunday for March Madness brackets coming very, very soon. We'll know who our champions are. We'll know who our number one seed is. And by the time we record next week, we'll know whose brackets have been busted. So this does mean that come Selection Sunday, you can start making your brackets because those first games happen on Tuesday. Well, it's the last in games happen on Tuesday, but you can start making your brackets for Wednesday. And yeah, that is sports. So let's get into TV news. And we're going to discuss what is TV. Because no longer cable, it's more streaming. But with streaming, where's all that ad revenue going? Well, it's going to YouTube because it generated $40 billion in ad revenue in 2025, which exceeded the $37 billion sum from the four closest Hollywood competitors of Disney, NBC Universal, Paramount slash Skydance now, and Warner Brothers Discovery combined. That number is a $4 billion swing since 2024, when those numbers were actually reversed and YouTube had $36 billion in ad revenue. Now, while YouTube keeps close to half of its ad revenue, it is paying creators 55% of cuts on ads from standard videos. YouTube also generates more viewership on US TVs in January than Disney, NBC, Paramount, and Warner Bros. Discovery streamers combined. And that is according to Nielsen's ratings. Netflix is the only paid streamer that rivals YouTube's 12.5 share percentage with 8.8% TV percentage, though it hasn't yet been a major player in ads, revenue, and ad generation. YouTube has brought in nearly $22 billion in subscription revenues in 2025, largely driven by the live TV of YouTube TV, the ad-free tiers of YouTube Premium. There's also YouTube Music, and more recently, the NFL Sunday Ticket service for football superfans, where they had to dole out $300 plus to watch NFL Sunday Ticket. However, YouTube's ad revenue is well below the tech giants because there's always a bigger fish, those being Facebook parent company, Meta, which generated $196 billion in ad revenue in 2025. But, YouTube is only one, $40 billion ad revenue is only one part of the larger Google company, Alphabet, which made $224 billion last year, mostly generated from search ads. Why we're talking about ad revenue is because ads support television. Some ads support creators. If you're not paying for it directly, it's being supported through ads and brands. And YouTube has a lot of money to make a bigger splash in ad revenue. Now, yes, that does mean 20 billion of it, or roughly 20 billion of that is going to creators, which is great. But it's also being spread out a bunch of creators. It's not being funneled into a handful. Whereas you can't really say the same thing about the other four: Disney, NBC, Paramount, and Warner Brothers. But hey, it's fun to take a look behind the numbers, behind the scenes. All right. I don't have any new thoughts going on right now in television. Love is Blind officially ended. It's up. If you can't find the reunion, it's because they put it in its own little reunion show on Netflix. But then we have cancellations and renewals. What am I no longer watching? Well, you're no longer watching Yes Chef. Has it been canceled after one season on NBC? That, of course, was the cooking competition with a name inspired by the bear, which also, we talked about last week, is coming to a close. Then we had three big syndications getting the axe here. The Steve Wilkos Show, Camaro, and Access Hollywood have all been canceled. Camaro being recently, as only had 4 seasons. The Steve Wilkos Show, the kind of spin-off of the Jerry Springer Show, had 19 seasons. And Access Hollywood has been on your TVs for the past 30 years. And all three are ending broadcast this summer. Kamara and Steve Wilkos have stuff in the can, going through summer. But Access Hollywood shoots pretty much on the daily and or weekly, yeah, daily, and will be ending come summertime. It's very, very sad that this basically institution of TV is going away, but it is hard to compete with breaking news of the internet, and two, YouTube, as we just talked about. That it's quicker for people to get news up and their thoughts on YouTube than it is to wait 24 hours for the next Access Hollywood installment. But you should see to take Access Hollywood to a digital format, which they probably should, but that doesn't mean they need to have someone on staff constantly. So sorry, Mario Lopez, you can't just show up for 30 minutes at a time or an hour at a time. But we do have some shows coming back, including the audacity to have this season two before you even have a season one because it's coming out next month. But yeah, the audacity on AMC will get a second season. If you want to catch the first season, it will be premiering in a couple of weeks. Doc will get a third season on Fox. That is Doc, Amnesia Doc. We also have the Drew Barrymore Show. We'll be getting two more seasons taking it to 2028. So not all syndication is technically dead. We also have Foresights, which will get a third season on PBS Masterpiece. Marshalls will get a second season on CBS. That's another one of those Yellowstone spinoffs. And lastly, Love Island USA will get an eighth season on Peacock if you're into streaming for that. Now we'll move on into music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land, as I called it, is Bruno Mars with I Just Might. At 2, Choosing Texas by L.L. Langley. Coming at 3, Man, I Need by Olivia Dean. At 4, getting that album bump, Risk It All by Bruno Mars. And right at your top 5, Ordinary by Alex Warren. As for your Billboard 200, those album charts, at number 1 is indeed The Romantic by Bruno Mars. At 2, people are still listening to Debbie Tirar Más Fotos by Bad Bunny. Coming in at 3, the problem himself, Morgan Wallen. Coming in at 4, Octane by Don Toliver. And rounding your top 5, The Art of Loving by Olivia Dean. If you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases that you can listen to right now. Well, after you listen to this podcast. Let's finish this up first. We have Crystal Punk by Chalk. Gold Star, in all caps, by The Softs. Hard Hearted Woman by Aura Kogan. Irreversible by Bridget Calls Me Baby. Only You Left by The Orels. Trying Times by James Blake. Yes, that James Blake. Mutiny After Midnight by Johnny Blue Skies and the Dark Clouds. A Pound of Feathers by the Black Crows. Yes, those Black Crows. And lastly, Play Me by Kim Gordon. Yes, Matt, that Kim Gordon. And I know you'll be listening to Play Me. And I'm sure you'll talk about it next week because this is Kim Gordon's latest album. I will not be listening to that. Also, in case you're wondering, the Harry Styles album will be on the charts next week. Now, let's get into our music news, where we're going to talk about Live Nation, or should I say, Lie Nation? Because unsealed trial exhibits in the federal antitrust case against Live Nation and Ticketmaster are offering yet another rare look at how company insiders discuss fans, pricing, and venue add-ons behind closed doors, mainly on Slack channels. And that language is strikingly blunt. In court papers, fighting Live Nation's attempt to keep the materials away from jurors, government plaintiffs, said internal messages show a current top Live Nation ticketing executive calling fans, quote, so stupid, saying that he, quote, gouges them on ancillary prices and bragging that the company was, quote, robbing them blind, baby, close quote. So what these documents is makes these documents especially notable is that the underlying exhibits largely back up the government's characterization of Ticketmaster and Live Nation. In one exhibit, the Slack messages boast that they, quote, almost feel bad taking advantage of them, close quote, them being us, the customers, the consumers. In another, the two men discussed premium parking and VIP parking spaces in language that reads less like reluctant cost justification and more like celebration, with one of the screenshots discussing centers, one of the screenshots discussion centers on $250 parking, with the chat noting that that was for, quote, just one parking spot, close quote. Uh, this just goes to show that what we've all known is that Ticketmaster and Live Nation having control of the venue, the parking, the merchandise, everything, that they can raise these rates to absorbent prices and people will pay them. And essentially, like they said here, rob them blind. That because they know that they're the only game in town, that they're the ones who control these acts in these big arenas, that they can pretty much put whatever ticket prices that they want and people end up paying them. There's also more in the story about how they charge ancillary stuff that doesn't really mean anything, like VIP parking. You're only like 20 feet closer, like VIP access. It's just a door on the side. Like additional things that don't have anything to do to improve the experience but are mainly there to nickel and dime and just take more and more money away from you. Now, on the flip side, you as a consumer do have the objection to not pay those prices. But if they're the only game in town, then you're obligated. No, I'm not really obligated. That's the wrong word. You're limited to the number of choices that you can make because you have to pay some way to get there, whether it's through the ticket, the parking, or if you're going to park offsite and walk for free, then that's your own choice, which is still a choice. But to basically then create this big gap of tiers between the haves and the haves not is where this is coming from, why the company is getting involved, because they're trying to make things equal for all. And yes, Ticketmaster and Live Nation should be broken up. There should be a separation of venues and artists and, well, like it says here, parking. Uh, that having one giant corporation control it all means they get to set their prices, they get to overcharge, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So glad the government's getting involved. Well overdue, because we've been talking about denationalization for at least the past 10 years, and now we're seeing like, oh, hey, there was something here. All right, let's then talk about music news. Or sorry, music thoughts, because I listened to that new Harry Styles record, Kiss all the time, disco occasionally. And I also watched the Netflix concert film, The One Night with Harry Styles from Manchester. And I can confidently report that it's it's really good. It's really good. I'm surprised how good this is. I had really low hopes for this. I wasn't really excited for the Harry Styles record. I'm not one that's going to be like, oh yes, let's jump ahead. Like, yes, Harry Styles, this is going to be it. Especially because his last couple albums had like maybe one or two hits on it. Uh, Watermelon Sugar High is still a very fun song, but also like the single from it. Uh, he's it's very rare for an artist to play an album front to back. But that's what he did with the one night uh, concert show, and it went fast. It was fun. It was energetic. I was surprised how much I was into this album. I was surprised how much I was into the concert. I was surprised how much I was into Harry Styles because every song built upon one another. Every song gradually went better and better and better. It's weird for me to hear this and be like, oh, I like this song. No, I like this song. Next one. Oh, I like this one. Oh, now you're just on a roll here. It's very intoxicating. It's very smooth, soothing. It's got this really nice mix of pop and disco and electronic and house. And it just builds and builds and builds to where by the time I got to the end, I was like, wow, I actually really like this album. And then I listened to it again. And I listened to it again. I've only listened to this song. I feel bad for Bruno Mars because he put on an album and no one's going to be listening to it because everyone's going to be listening to Harry Styles now. This might be the album of 2026. I haven't been this infused with an album probably since Future Nostalgia, where I'm like, oh, every song on this is a banger. And every song on Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, is a banger. Every song I'm listening to, I'm like, oh, this could be a hit. This could be a single. On any other album, this could be like the song you're talking about. Except they're all on one album. So it might cannibalize each other, or you might have the 1989 record, Taylor Swift, because we have to mention her at least once, where every song eventually becomes a single. And this could just be the year of Harry Styles. I expect to see this in the record for a Grammy for Best Record because it is so produced, well produced. Just everything about this is great. I have literally nothing bad to say about this album, which is shocking for me. Well, because one, it's Harry Styles, but two, I I did not expect this. This was not on my bingo card. This is just something that was like, oh, comes out of nowhere. Got a little hype of it. It's like, okay, I'll look it up. I'll watch it because I feel like I have to. I probably don't want to watch it, want to like it, and yet I ended up liking it. That first song, lead Aperture, just sucks you in, and it just goes from there. It is so well produced, so well done, and I I get the Harry Styles hype now, I guess. At least for this album. Maybe I need to go back and listen to the other stuff. But I really like this album that he put out this year. This is his, I don't know how a breakthrough album, but this is the one that's gonna like launch him up to that stratosphere if he wasn't there already. But yeah, if you haven't listened to that Harry Styles album, I really highly recommend it that you do. All right. But that does bring us to our final category here, video games, where we start with new releases. We have Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection for the PC, Xbox Series X, PS5, and the Switch 2. Dead Zone, Rogue for the Switch 2. Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun for the Switch 2. And lastly, our two big releases. Well, one's a kind of a re-release. Death Stranding 2, on the beach. Yes, I already came out for consoles. This is the PC edition. And lastly, Crimson Desert for the PC, Xbox Series X, and the PS5. I've seen nothing but hype for Crimson Desert. It's kind of gotten me hyped for Crimson Desert. I might actually play Crimson Desert once the reviews come out. But all the previews, everything that they've been talking about this is saying that it is as big and as ambitious as they say it is. It is also a single player game. It's also a one-time fee. It's not an online running subscription service. You pay for the game, you play the game. There's no like ongoing fees to this. So with that and how everything that I'm seeing, I'm cautiously optimistic about Crimson Desert. There is a review embargo until 24 hours prior to its release. If it keeps this high momentum and it just doesn't come in with a bunch of negative reviews, I might end up playing it and talk about it next week. All right, but we got to talk about this week. We got to talk about video game news. And EA is at it again with layoffs again. So EA has laid off an unknown number of individuals from across its Battlefield teams, including workers at Criterion, DICE, Ripple Effect, and Motive Studios. Now, all four studios will remain operational, though the layoffs seem to be impacting a variety of teams across multiple studios and offices. This doesn't sound good, especially since Battlefield 6 was the best selling game of 2025 in the US. It sold a record shattering 7 million copies in 3 days. It was the best launch ever for the game in the franchise. Now, these layoffs do come as EA is preparing to be acquired by an investor group, which is composed of the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for $55 billion. However, that acquisition is not closed yet. It's expected to close in 2027, um, which is the first fiscal quarter being April, May, or June of this year. So that's coming. That's soon. It's literally a couple months away, a couple weeks away to start the fiscal year of 2027, Q1. So maybe this is them shedding, but it's also a really, really shitty business move. Although, who am I kidding? We're talking about EA, the king of shitty, shitty business moves. Wait, no, sorry. I forgot. That crown goes to Ubisoft. My bad. Uh, but yeah, just sucks for these people just getting laid off for no reason, especially after the mass success of Battlefield 6. And this is the unfortunate side of businesses. And I don't want to talk about this anymore. So we're going to talk about the last thing here of video game thoughts. I have some quick thoughts on Digimon Time Changers Season 1 DLC because that final season, or final episode pack dropped this past week. And just like I said, when I talked about Digimon, that they were not season 1, I was went for all of them to drop at the same time and then pick it up, which is exactly what I did. So for $30, you can get an extra 3 hours of great Digimon content. There are, yes, you can even unlock more Digimon to Digivolve, including a lot more variations of Omnimon, because I think every single pack here has another variation of Omnimon, which is good and bad because it does seem very focused on it, but at the same time, people love their Omnimon. I did not really feel the first pack that opened up was as strong as the other two. It mainly focused on the introduction of Parallelmon, the parallel world eating Digimon, but also the main antagonist of this season, where born out of the time ripples that you created through the game of Digimon Time Strangers and wreaking havoc. So it's nice to like go back and be like, oh, here's some additional content of why like some characters made the choice they did that they didn't fit into the first game. Same thing for season 2 and season 3. So it's nice additional story content. Not necessary because you kind of get the gist, but at least it adds a little bit more depth than these characters who pop in and out in the original game. The second pack was the Boncho pack, which I really, really liked. It was fun how they introduced all the new Boncho Digimon because you had to fight them, and it's like, oh, like I'm going to fight you to see who's the strongest, and it's really great. It's really fun interaction and dynamics, uh, because that's kind of like what the Boncho is. It's a leader of the group, but you can't all have like five leaders, so it's fun to be like, oh no, I'm the leader, you're the fake. Oh, I'm the leader, you're the fake. So it was really, really fun interaction, and I really enjoyed the Boncho season. The final one was the X antibody, and here's where it kind of earns the money because it delves into some deep character thoughts with the Digimon on how to proceed through Digivolution and evolution, how there's two different branches, especially with the X antibody of destroying Digimon in order to raise the strongest, or eliminating the X antibody because everyone should have a chance to survive. It's this really great dichotomy that you don't see in a lot of media that are coming out ahead to each other in a Digimon game, of all things. I had a really fun time playing through it. I had a really fun time exploring like the different nuances of each each kind of road that led you down. And I think it's kind of that third pack was kind of worth the $30 because not only did it like make you think, but added like a lot of left depth and layers in a Digimon game that I already liked. And to add this, and I'm kind of excited for any other additional seasons they might do here, where they'll go, because even though it kind of ends after that third episode, it does leave the door open to where Parallel Bond can come back in a different form, in a different timeline. And it does seem like, oh, like if we want to add more, we definitely can. But we'll see if they do or do not. We'll see if they try and go to additional uh, time strangers, code strangers, whatever the next iteration of Digimon is if they move on from here. But I was really excited, really fun time with all three episodes. They are all available now to play, and I had just an absolute blast going through it. All right, and with that, that'll do it for me here at the Video Boat Podcast. If you liked listening to me, thank you. Let me know. Sharing to your socials. Drop comments down when you find this on YouTube, Media Boat Podcast. We're on Amazon, Spotify, Google Play, Pop Up Podcast, wherever. Just comment, like, just say, hey, I really liked that voice. I want more of that voice. We're also on Twitch streaming video games occasionally at Media Boat. We do have an IMDb page, Media Boat Podcast. You can go there, rate us, like us, whatever. We're on Discord. We're on Blue Sky, Media Boat BSKY social. Like I said, we have Discord. Just let us know if you can find us. And yeah, the best way you can reach us is through our email at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. Matt will be back next week, so you can stay tuned, and he'll be back with, I mean, we'll have our Oscar winners. We'll know who won that. We'll be back with the winner of the World Baseball Classic. We will have brackets busted, and we'll be back with more news, more thoughts, and more of us. Well, more of me, but also more of Matt. All right, bye.